Are you having a hard time sourcing inventory? Maybe you're new or you're feeling stuck or you're just looking for fresh new approaches. If you've been struggling to find profitable items and need to keep your business growing, then this video is for you. Today we're going to be talking about a largely untapped sourcing method that can help you stay ahead of the reselling game, furnish and equip your business, or even just upgrade it. We're in a U-Haul today. What's going on? Are we moving? Absolutely not. We're going to a pickup. So today we're going to be talking about a sourcing method that's been pretty good to me over the years, and I don't really see a lot of people talking about on this platform or any others, to be honest. And the good thing about it is that it's actually such a big pie that there's enough slices for everybody to have a piece and you still make really good profit. And this will be good for you even whether you're a hobbyist, an enthusiast, a reseller, a collector, any of that, because there's stuff for everyone when it comes to this. And we're going to keep it basic level, entry level, surface, in case it's something that you've never thought about, something that you can put in your toolbox, what have you. And so if you watch any of our videos or see any of our posts across social media, you'll often hear me talk about pickups, right? You don't normally see the reselling crowd talking about what they're finding or they're sourcing in terms of pickups. Why do we call them pickups? Why do we call them mail calls? The reason for that is we source a lot through auctions. Mind you, there's lots of ways, lots of different types of auctions. You have local ones, you have various different platforms that are targeted at the consumer level, if you will. You have industrial ones, so on and so forth. The one that I'm going to be talking about a little bit today is going to be government auctions. Now, you may have heard about government auctions and you may be thinking that it's something that you need a special license for, or that it only has to do with big vehicles, big industrial equipment, or military surplus. That's one that people hear about a lot, right? But it actually goes far, far beyond that into way more categories that you can imagine. Every single aspect of government, every industry that they can cover, there's an auction related to that. And I'm a big believer of there being more than one way to skin the cat, right? You should definitely be sourcing through every single avenue that you're capable of. We already know about estate sales. We know about garage sales. We know about liquidation and pallets, right? And just the more things you add to your repertoire, to your knowledge base, it's only going to make you more successful, right? And you have the mindsets of people who think you should be an everything seller, people who think you should only niche down. I believe that you can do both, actually, and that has actually worked really, really well for me in my own different stores. So when it comes to government auctions, you're going to come across professional laboratory equipment. That's one of my niches. You're going to come across electronics, audio video equipment, office equipment. That's one of my niches. And you're going to go all the way to things like furniture, because offices do shut down. Remember what happened a few years ago where people were told they had to stay home, et cetera, et cetera? Well, guess what? A lot of those offices ended up working remote, and now there's a whole bunch of equipment that's just been sitting in office buildings and warehouses for years. And so the government, after a certain amount of time, has to cut budgets and do audits and say, hey, we got to get rid of all this stuff. And one of the reasons you want to add auctions to your avenue of approach or your skill set is that geographic location matters when it comes to sourcing or being a reseller, right? Some of us live near really huge metro areas. In my case, I'm in DFW. I mean, it's really hard to beat that. But you might live out in the country. Matter of fact, you could say that I'm a little bit far from DFW, but after years of doing this, I've learned to map routes and found out what works for me. But you might be somewhere where estate sales and garage sales die out throughout the year and they're only seasonal. Here they go all year long, which is great. But you might just live somewhere where there's not enough population to sustain that kind of commerce. So that's where things like auctions come in great. And there's a lot of other platforms that we can go over, and we'll do that another time because, like I said, we're focusing on government ones. And being able to use auctions is going to expand your reach because they can ship, or anywhere you live, there's some type of government representation nearby, right? Maybe 60 miles at the farthest. Somehow they're everywhere. So there's always going to be something that's within your reach, within your grasp. With that being said, the platform that we're going to be using for this particular topic is going to be GSA Auctions. Once you get to that website, You can sort and filter by proximity, by zip code, by category, by, and when we say category, we're talking about laboratory equipment, industrial equipment, office, you name it. So here's the website. It's all pretty self-explanatory and intuitive. You can see how you can browse by different categories and by location. If you've ever used the internet, you'll know what you're doing here. Registration is pretty simple, no different than opening up a Facebook profile or anything of the sort. And it actually gives you the option to register as an individual or as a company. Now, if you're an LLC, you should definitely do that. That's a conversation for another video, however. Okay, well, that's enough of that for now. Let's go get this pickup done. And we're on our way to Dallas for an auction pickup. We're not even to Mesquite yet, and as you can see, traffic is pretty bad. And we're going there to do pickup of some big items, some big office furniture. And I want everybody to know that in your store, if you're doing this resale thing, is you want to have fast movers, quick, cheap and easy ones. And it's also good to diversify and have some slow movers that are going to yield you a lot of money. Okay, full disclosure, in this particular case, I spent $10 because nobody else wanted to bid on this. I spent $10 on 3 pieces of furniture that are originally worth around $2,400 each. I'm not even kidding. Now, mind you, these are not brand new, so the value is going to be, I don't know, half of that. Okay, so $10 plus the cost of the U-Haul plus the cost of the fuel. Do the math. Okay, now in a perfect world, you would have nothing but small, fast movers, right? You would have nothing but $1,000 Pokemon cards and AirPods and such. But not everybody can do that all the time. Of course, your store should have them. Please, by all means, make sure you have some $1,000 video games, comic books, plushies, etc., etc. But you want to make sure that you diversify. And if you saw our earlier videos where we talk about storage units, that's what you'll be able to do by having that extra space. You'll be able to get big items, whether it's a boat, a car, what else? Furniture, big lots of computers, you name it. There's lots of stuff that can make you a lot of money if you're willing to put in a little bit of effort and if you have the space. So something for you to keep in mind. And so I'll update once we get there. I'll document. It's a pretty cool building. Once we get there, maybe you'll figure it out by the time I show you exactly where we are. Okay, we went through security, up to the 9th floor, made contact with the person in charge of this department, and here's what we're picking up. We have 3 of these, and it's going to be these desks with hutch that you see here. They're called the credenza in our invoice. It's going to be 3 separate pieces. We loaded up. We've made several trips up and down the elevator and out to the U-Haul parked out front of the building. The whole process was actually simpler than I expected to. I was prepared for a day from hell, thinking we were going to fully have to dismantle these and that they could possibly get damaged, but nope. The entire process was pretty smooth. And this is where we are. We are pretty close to the heart of Dallas. You might recognize some of these landmarks, especially this one coming up here with bulls. And at this point, we were down to the last piece of furniture that needed to get loaded up. I'm actually pretty happy and glad that I rented a 20-foot truck because it helped make things completely headache-free. Right, so after all that back and forth, I got a whole bunch of steps in. We're back at our storage unit as previously featured, and we're gonna put some of this stuff away. We make sure to take pictures while we were still out there, while everything was still nice and set up, so that our marketplace listing, or wherever we decide to show it, it's going to look better if we have it in that office setting as opposed to if we have it just out here in a storage unit. Okay, so hopefully this helps out somebody out there that is maybe struggling with sourcing more inventory. Maybe garage sales died out where you're at. Just something for you to look into. We'll talk about different types of auctions more at a later date.
And it's just good. Again, I repeat this. It's very good to have all these different options for yourself because they're all going to offer you different types of stuff. Okay, you already know that nothing is ever going to be cheaper than your garage sales, right? At least on average, because you will come across some deals that absolutely blow those out of the water. But as a general rule, nothing's going to be cheaper than your garage sales. Estate sales, they're a little bit more expensive than garage sales, but you can do personal transactions there, right? You can work out deals with the estate sale company, right? Especially if you have a standing relationship, or if you say, hey, I'm going to buy all this. I've done it a few times myself. You're going to have local auction houses. Make sure that you're checking those out as well, because when it comes to auctions, each one of these categories that I'm mentioning has their pros and their cons. Okay, and as far as auctions go, is nothing is going to offer you more unique, one of a kind, ultra rare type of items than auctions are going to. And auctions are also going to give you the opportunity to do the pennies on the dollar, especially when it comes to these government ones, right? Liquidation pallets are usually going to be more up to date, more modern appliances and inventory, general goods, etc., etc. Right? But those are pretty generic. They're not going to be one of a kind. They can still be very profitable. Some people will only source at flea markets, and if that works for you, that's fine. Perfect your craft. All we want to do here is make sure that everybody has as most information as they possibly can so that they can be successful in this business or in just collecting, and as I mentioned earlier, and I'll stress this, it's such a big pie, such a big cake that even if we're all taking a piece, there's still enough for all of us to be successful in there. Hopefully that got some gears going on how to increase your sourcing or grow your business. We got a few more tips on how to go about that, so make sure you're checking them out.